again in the Woody Workshop for another edition of Toss the Sprue. Um, just something that's been on my mind, and so I want to discuss it, how relevant or what people think or whatever. It's just going to be me blathering about. So I'm the first to admit that, kind of in the scheme of things, I'm one of those that sort of wants everything to be, to quote James Duff and what he used to have on his site, rainbows and unicorns. We know basically what the term means. That I want everything good, no bad or negative or whatever. Um, it's just the way I am. I generally keep my criticisms to myself, or a lot of my thoughts and whatnot, but there are times it's appropriate, and I don't know what's happened with, somehow I guess, blame it on the internet and all our connectivity these days and all that type of thing. Um, it seems these days, if you even slightly criticize something or say something that, okay, this just wasn't perfect or right or however you want to say it, you're a hater. And I mean, people being branded a hater just for some slight, sometimes negative comment is driving me crazy. I mean, definitely there are people out there that take every opportunity they get to say something bad and as bad as they can. Um, the first example I'm going to use is, recently in the last week or so, there was there's a lot of films done um, on the subject of Star Trek. Uh, most of them are pretty good, considering what they are. And then there was one that was coming up called Star Trek Axanar that was looking like it was going to be as good as anything the studios put out. But as if you follow Star Trek at all, you know that CBS and Paramount, or however all that work, has basically stopped them in the courts. But the one that came out recently was one set in the time of Enterprise. If you know the Star Trek franchise, the fifth show in the series was Enterprise. It was before Captain Kirk. It featured Captain Archer and what then became the original Enterprise, NX-01. This movie followed NX-04, Captain Harrison Hawk, on an adventure and his crew. And I'm just going to leave it at that, or this will go on forever. Well, I watched the whole thing. I thought it was pretty good. And the acting is, they're not professional actors, but boy, they were pretty good as far as I was concerned. The special effects were really well done, I thought. They just kind of dipped too much into J.J. Abrams' lens flare thing, and the lighting was like they had dream sequences, and you couldn't tell where they started and where they ended sometimes just because of the lighting and whatnot. But I mean, generally it was excellent. And the thing was, in the comments down below, of course, you got a few rotten people that always have to, oh, that's terrible, oh, that was the worst thing. But there was quite a few that felt like I did, that, hey, yeah, that was pretty good, and went on to say, yeah, the acting wasn't quite up to like a studio production, and the same thing that I thought about the lighting was kind of confused things and whatnot. Well, of course, the ones that said that was terrible and everything were branded haters, but even those that said, yeah, that was pretty good, except, these things are a little rough, Well, they were branded haters too. And yet they said the whole thing was pretty good, but just because they had something not quite really positive to say, they were branded as haters. And that's something that really bothers me about this stuff these days, is that you can't, unless you're calling something rainbows and ponies. That's the best thing I've ever seen. That movie was fantastic. There was not a thing wrong with it. And if you're not saying that, then you're a hater. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why you can't say, yeah, that was pretty good, but it wasn't perfect, without getting branded a hater. And like I say, I'm kind of a rainbows and ponies type of guy that I want everything to be nice. And generally, I'm criticizing that production here a little bit as an example, and I certainly didn't leave comments there. I usually just comment on YouTube modeling community stuff, not on other stuff, videos that I watch. Um, so anyway, I just don't understand that. And then, you know, as you probably know, where I'm circling back to is the video that Hunter Selby did about the BlizzCon contest he went to, and the backlash from that. I Now, if Hunter had sat there and said, that show was lousy, it was the worst thing I've ever gone to, the venue was terrible, it sucked, and those guys don't know what they're doing, they're idiots, I would never go there again, that's the worst show ever, don't you ever go there again, and, they don't know they're judging from their backsides. Now, if he'd said that, basically just slammed it and lambasted it and everything, then I could understand the kerfuffle, the what has happened since and has caused him to take it down and say, I'm not doing that anymore. I thought that his views were well tempered, and the thing was, they were backed up by the Stash Report, James Duff. He basically kind of said the same thing. Yeah, it was good, but it had issues, And all of a sudden, oh, you're a hater. Well, I didn't take it that way. Now, I mean, I'm a Hunter fan. I'll stand up and say that right now. Hunter, as far as I'm concerned, tells it like it is. You know where he's coming from. If you watch his channel, you should by now know what to expect. He's going to tell you the way he thinks it is, Whereas I'd probably go, yeah, okay, it was an okay show, rainbows and ponies. But I don't know, I guess I'm dense. I just don't understand the backlash. And I just don't understand why you can't say anything even mildly bad, and I'm using bad in a relative term, like it used to be criticism meant, yes, this is good, but it could be fixed. And people used to understand that, seems to me. Now, the minute you say anything the least bit negative, you're a hater. And I hate that. I don't know what to do about it. I guess it's just a fact of the internet and all this connectivity these days, and Facebook and YouTube and Google Plus and Instagram and all that. Pardon me. It seems to have divided everybody. And I don't know. Well, I'm going around in circles now. I just don't understand it. Anyway, Hunter, I appreciated your review. James, I appreciated that you said, yeah. I mean, it does help, I suppose, if you're thinking of going to show and you hear that, you might not want to, and I can sort of understand the negative reaction. But if I've learned anything from going to numerous model contests over the years, is that they change from year to year. Some years it's not so great, and everything is backwards and they don't seem organized. In other years, it runs like a watch, except for NNL East, which always seems to run like a watch, and I give those guys a thumbs up. But I mean, that stuff happens. They're in a new venue. They probably be sorted out better next year. Maybe the negative feedback they got from others other than Hunter and James, that the judging, maybe especially in the automotive category, was off. They might look into it. Who knows? I don't know. I just hate that everybody gets up in arms over what was, I thought, a fairly reasonable, concise view of the problems that were there. And I'm sorry that Hunter got labeled as a hater and whatever else, you know. And I just find this whole business of all this stuff frustrating and haters and all this. Just anyway, I think you get my point by now. So anyway, that's my toss of Sprue to the guys in Ontario, especially around the GTA. I hope I run into you on Sunday at Brant's Hatch model show and flea market. It should be a good time. And Aries, maybe we'll connect. This is becoming humorous. We keep going to the same shows and have never met yet, but usually they're so busy that it's hard to, unless you do the, we'll meet here and here at such and such a time. And since I have a stupid phone and I don't text, and half the time I forget to turn my stupid phone on, that just doesn't work with me. Meh. Neanderthal, what can I say? Okay, this is long enough. I made my point. This is Toss of Sprue number 14. Over and out. See you next time. Bye.